Hello, everyone. This is the Foundry Roundtable with Drogan 1701, Duncan, Idaho, and Green Dragoon. Uh, well, there's no easy way to say this, but the Foundry is coming to an end. We got the bad news last week that the Foundry is going to be sunset on April 11th, basically due to the fact that they can no longer continue to maintain it in a working order. So obviously, there's a lot to say about that. But we're gonna keep most of that to a final end of Foundry live stream that we are going to be doing on March 30th. But tonight we wanted to say a few words about preserving things that are in the Foundry. Obviously, Duncan has been a big spearhead in some of these things. So why don't you get us started?
So what I've been trying to do is just coordinate between authors and people with capacity video from Star Trek Online, so that people can sign up for having their missions recorded, and then people can just contribute to those. So we've got some good effort on that. Legion of Myth has been putting in a lot of that. I've been putting a lot of that, but we could definitely still use some more help. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's just the more work the more people are putting into it, the more missions are preserved from that pretty sizable list at this point. So I've got it open as a Google Doc. So basically, if you're interested in recording, you basically just sign off and mark it as an X if you've actually completed it, and then get in touch with us on the videos. Definitely use Word format because that has effectively the best quality for archiving. Because if you just rely on Twitch, well, chances are those can get cleared out pretty easy, if not automatically. So, yeah, and then authors who are having trouble capturing their definitely sign off on that one, but keep in mind that right now, because we have a very limited limited supply of people who are able to contribute to this right now, definitely kind of keep in mind that we are not necessarily able to get, like, if you have 20 missions, we may not be able to get all of those in. So prioritize what you want most recorded if you're not able to get it yourself, and then just sign off on that list. And then if you can help, definitely try to help. And we've got some authors who may be able to help once they're through their own preservation project. And I do want to give shout outs to Gemhadar Fanboy on on Reddit, has started a Foundry Preservation Society video series, and he's working missions that have been requested on his thread, as well as our list, as well as, of course, Beth, who's been running a whole lot of streams to talk about those, what their plans are coming up. And also Ranger Rior and Zeph Films have started working through submissions as well. So a lot of people are trying to contribute to this. It's just for how much we need to get preserved. Definitely we can get all the help we can get still. So if you're interested, check out me on Twitter. I can definitely link up on that. Any one of us can also put you in touch with that list. And then, yeah, just try your best to capture as much as possible, and also make sure you're not just clicking through the dialogue.
Yes.
Yeah. And the ultimate goal of this is to, once we get all these videos, is basically make a grand list, a master list of every single Foundry mission we have recorded. And so authors can sort through that and identify where their missions are with links, and also just find their favorite missions made by other authors. So the Foundry has a lasting presence, document, as well as
I am already working on that list.
Yep.
I've been going through the various people who have been live streaming Foundry missions over the years, any ones I know or people tell me about, and writing down which mission by which author and getting YouTube links and setting that all up. Then to that will also be in the stream. Eventually with the idea, yeah. So if you're a Foundry author and you want to know if somebody had done a video of any of your missions, you can take a look through all of the different streamers.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely take a look at that too before requesting help, because yeah, if you've already got your missions recorded, then it would be advisable.
You may not need it again.
Yeah, you may not need it again, and that does take space away from other offers who want their missions recorded, like who don't have like any preservation on that one. So, for example, Starfire Theta with the Omni Tabula series, that has not been live streamed yet. and or at least as far as I've seen, and that's a shame because that is a fantastic series.
And of course, the various YouTube streamers that I found, a lot of them have very different approaches. Some of them read out all the dialogue. Some of them act out the dialogue in goofy voices, like we did.
Yeah.
And some of them, don't say anything, or just interject their own thoughts while they're playing rather than reading the dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, did you get Doug Glendower?
I do. I've got him.
Okay. Awesome.
It's quite a big list already, and I'm not done archiving all of the Legion of Myth stuff because they've done just about 1 million.
Yeah, and I think like what'll be good for that one is ultimately have like one big list with like streamers a filter, so we can kind of browse it more by mission and author. And
once I get it all filled in there,
yeah,
we can make it into a better format. Because already the tabs, more tabs for streamers than is the width of the window. So
wow. But yeah, that's kind of the main effort of like how to preserve to actually do playthrough and record it on video. And my plan for the stuff I'm getting is to actually give it a voiceover after the fact, make it also a little bit more approachable to a general audience. So this stuff might have a little bit more legs in the long term.
And something else that I can also say is I'm seeing a lot of authors kind of putting out their final missions. I know I'm working on getting part 3 out before the closure, and I believe Admiral Aaron just released a mission. Or
He's close to it, I think. He's been releasing sort of like the coming soon
teasers.
I've released 3.
I've also seen
been working like crazy.
XR377 working on getting a mission out.
Nice.
Which I think it's been a while since he put one out.
Well, he's been in some of our challenges. So
he was a winner for Infinity and Victory Life.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's got a lot of us. It's almost raised our interest level, which is kind of funny. I've been going back through my old missions, trying to preserve things and demoing and taking screenshots and things, and it's been actually kind of fun. To be perfectly honest. So I think a lot of people are thinking about how to preserve their own missions, and maybe even in different formats other than video. I've been thinking about doing, and actually have done some work on, making comic books.
Yeah, that's neat.
I think the dialogue style of the Foundry sort of lends itself to that a little bit. I'm having to pare down a lot, but
yeah, that's where I'm kind of thinking for comics that might not work for me as well.
Maybe not. I was perhaps a bit less verbose than you, so it works a little bit better for me.
I will say for any authors that are trying to get out last-minute missions, if you tweet your announcement tweet at Foundry Roundtable, we will retweet it. So trying to get the word out.
Yeah, I've seen some authors putting some stuff out on the forum, but it started getting to the point where there's a little bit too much going on, and definitely it takes like to get all this stuff, any kind of recognition, take a community effort. So now's the time to really begin, especially on the video recordings and of these last projects too. It's maybe some impactful ones for authors. So it's just another sort of PSA to just do what you can to sort of help people out and help manage projects. Even like when you're playing through, if you can't take video, take screenshots. That's another way to help authors out, just to give them a different viewpoint.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we can all take away from the Foundry is that it has been responsible for just developing a really incredibly positive community.
Yeah.
And ending, so we want to go out the way we've always been living, just by supporting each other.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the way the community has kind of risen up to this and decided to go out on a high note.
Yeah. I mean, that's been, just absolutely fantastic, because this has just been such a, it's been a very painful experience in gaming. For as much as the Foundry has been a very positive experience, very sort of uplifting and impactful experience, it does have that emotional resonance when it's leaving. So it's very visceral, and it's hit a lot of us, but it's one of those things where it's been so positive and so important to us that
And we
it's
want
not. It
the
wouldn't do
way
to
it
just
ends to be, to pay tribute to the last
yeah
7 years.
yeah because that's what the system, the developers who put so much time in trying to keep this going as long as they could, giving us as much time as possible, and yeah, I'm just hoping that this, as we forward from this, it sort of sets a template for other types of creativity in the Stowe community.
Absolutely.
So more short stories, more screen, like integration between screenshots, integration between costume artists. Yeah, just trying to build a larger, broader community that can really sort of take this torch up from here and really still deliver some of these impactful experiences.
And I know this whole closure has kind of been as hard on Ambassador Kale as it has been on us.
Oh yeah,
And he has actually gone as far as to set up a Foundry Discord channel.
yeah,
Which
and yeah, we can provide a like invite to you. I know the original one expired. Starfire Theta had some trouble getting into that. So we may have to look at that, but that is an option for people. You can also, another thing I'd also suggest for people who want to maintain a direct connection in game is also join up with Starbase UGC Fleet. That's also going to be another great way of keeping in touch with authors and maybe finding some collaborative people if you have another creative project in mind.
Not to mention that all kinds of us are on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
I know. I think you maybe suggested to Ambassador Kale that they convert the Foundry official forums into something to categorize or
yeah.
Display other creative endeavors.
Because I think there might be a forum for that right now for like artwork and Stowe.
Yeah, there's the art forum.
Yeah, but that's so buried that it's not really a high profile thing.
Yeah, much more than it used to be.
Yeah, and there's some creatives writing stuff in 10 forward, so it's all over the place. And the Foundry forums had that central location, so it would help also to give people who wanted to keep working in the Foundry, that it would give them sort of an immediate creative outlet to start exploring with other things, be it art, be it writing, be it integration of the two, even machinima. That might be something that people might try getting into with demo record, but that's another thing entirely. But yeah, just building more community and more sort of interactions, and yeah, I'm hoping there's just more opportunities for that in future, especially with just community interactions and creative stuff with between the community and Cryptic.
Yeah, that's a good point to remember, is that the Foundry may be going away, but the community is not.
And Lieutenant Tardigrade will give hugs, and I've got ideas. That's all I'm saying. I've got plans.
We're creative people, and the work doesn't necessarily stop because one tool goes away. So
yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just giving the Foundry as much of a send off as we can, and
absolutely
just trying to do the best job we can for it. And for me, I am so glad that I like, even like up to Sunday, I didn't think I could do it. Like for finishing my projects, because I thought I was going to go out with Transcendence Part 4 and Epoch Part 2, and then maybe I'd try to pick up on that if people cared enough after the fact. And somehow I built those missions in 48 hours and just right through. It's still a linear build to where they were to where they are now. And yeah, and it's just been very enlightening for looking at how I ended those missions to what I ultimately want to get out of the Foundry, because I wrote it with that in mind. These were written with the sunset, so especially Epoch Part 2 is a different mission to what it was going to be. And certainly the last SSF, it's a 3-map build, that's all I had, and then it's just a farewell. So yeah, and then I've seen people making other tribute projects. I recorded one of them. That was just like a very simple 1-map build, but it was just a thank you, and I wanted to make sure that was preserved.
Sure. So if anyone does anything like that, please let us know, and we'll try and preserve it.
Also, let Ambassador
if you
Kale
haven't
know.
done so already.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's several 10 forward weeklies coming up between now and then, so he may be willing to show off a Foundry map or two.
Yeah, and it definitely to show off the creativity side. It's such a better experience, because I know on the last stream they didn't want to talk about the Foundry because it was very fresh and still.
And they had just done a live stream.
And they had just done a live stream about it, and it's like you kind of have to move on a little bit.
Which Kale could barely get through.
Yeah, that was a tough one. So,
well, we certainly appreciate that and him. We appreciate all the efforts that it is quite clear that they'd try everything they could to save it, but
Yeah,
that's
but
just how
alas.
these things go some days.
And it's also worth pointing out too that they are saving the data, and
Mhm.
they're not giving up all hope that maybe someday something could be done with it. But there's nothing immediately planned along those lines. So
one thing
long-term.
one thing we do want to caution is don't necessarily rely on your demo records to be around forever, because
Oh, yeah.
occasionally those demos break due to patches. So
And who knows what effect losing Foundry is going to have for whether or not those work at all.
so if you demo something and are planning to get screenshots out of it or a video, do it right away.
Yeah, I mean and we've got a few weeks left, but time is going to be trickling down. So whatever you can to help preserve, whatever you can to get your own stuff and record it. Make sure you have as much as you want to remember the Foundry.
We should also we'll also include a link to the tool that I guess essentially organizes and makes sense of the text export that you can do out of Foundry
Oh
missions.
yeah, because that was from German Foundry author Ben Alexander.
It's a great way to preserve your scripts.
Yeah, so it's just a simple export tool. Hit the command prompt when you're playtesting a Foundry map, which exports all the data. That includes like a lot of the build data too, and it's pretty unreadable. But Ben threw together I think it was Ben developed this. He was the one who sort of brought it to our attention. But it's just a way of filtering out like all the extraneous stuff, and then it just gives you your dialogue. I'm not sure like in how it places the order. It's like creation date, so it might sort of be chronological of when you built it, as opposed to when it appears in the mission. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but it's all there. So that will help, especially when you want to.
I have noticed it's a little bit jumbled in places, but I because I wrote it, I can figure out, oh, this goes here and this goes here.
Yeah, and I can still make sense. So it's another, that's going to be the most complete record of everything you've written in your Foundry mission, because videos are going to be around, but if you want that writing, I mean, you're going to be left with pausing the video, writing out the dialogue as you see it, and that's going to be tedious, or trying to copy it from the editor directly, and that's also going to be tough. So the export editor tool has been fantastic to try to get as much as we can out of these missions.
Well, I think that probably covers just about everything, unless you had something else, Green Dragoon.
No, I just wanted to make sure we announced that we are going to be doing the live stream the 30th, Saturday. It's going to be a multi-hour deal. The exact times will follow, and you can find that. We'll announce that on Twitter. But I think the plan is to get as many Foundry missions in as we can. We'll take a few breaks in between, and hopefully get some other authors and maybe even a few surprises.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Also wanted to note that this Sunday, March 17th, Lee Smith is doing a 6 to 8 hour live stream of Foundry missions, in just trying to get through as many as they can. Also want to give a shout out to Grumpy Old Nord, and or for their Twitch channels, Grumpy Old Nord and then Texas Gemini, who are also doing Foundry stream as well as broadcast UGC. So definitely take a look at them.
And there may even be a one last primetime UGC episode in our future. We'll see if they can get that done.
In fact, I think they were recording some right as we were starting recording this.
Yeah, and also ZEF Films is also doing Foundry recording sessions, and then also doing like a live sort of airing of those episodes with chat. So keep an just keep an eye out for all this Foundry stuff going around. If you see someone just streaming, just give them a little bit of support, and then if they're able to, route them back our way for maybe helping to preserve some stuff. So
absolutely. Well, thanks everyone for all your hard work over the years, and obviously thanks for listening to us as well. We will continue to be around in the community after all this is done. So,
tardigrade hugs.
We'll end with some
tardigrade hugs all around.